What's the deal, my people? You know it is Don Tony Teflon. I'm back at you another one. And this one is the update for the week. You know, we'll be back here. We're here every week doing updates for you, letting you know what's going on in the world of TV and movies, especially with the shows that we love the most, which is Game of Thrones, obviously House of the Dragons, Lovecraft Country, unfortunately was canceled. We still love it, Evil, and everything else. We will keep you up to date, so make sure that you are subscribed and you click that bell so you'll be notified every time I drop a new video. There, now that is all out of the way. We have a couple of stories, 3 stories that we're going to get to and we're going to talk about real quick. Let me give a shout out to the people that I see in the chat. I don't know if there's anybody here today, but if there isn't, hey, you know what it is. It's all good. You know what I mean? We just do this up. We're going to make a time that it's going to be today. We'll use this date as every week for an update. We'll pick up day out there. A time slot. I figure out a time slot. And this will be the day, though. We'll definitely do it this day, every time, and stuff. That is not a problem. We'll do that here. So it's definitely going to be dropping on this day. So Wednesday, and we'll think of a time slot. But that is not so. And we also know that Tuesday I will be streaming with Phil, the Issues Guy. We have a stream that will jump off a new type of podcast now, kind of like the Usual Suspects. Will we still call ourselves the Usual Suspects? I'm not sure. We haven't worked all that out, but we'll be at our first Game of Thrones stream on, and it'll be a Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, Dunkin' Egg stream. Something, I wanted to come up with something that I'd never done before that we could do because I've done a lot on those topics. Just didn't want to do a read through with things like that. I've done all those, so figured something out, and we're going to give it a shot. We'll be doing that next week. I'll put the video, it'll be on Monday. I'll drop the link and everything else out there to everyone out there so you can see it. All right, let's say what up to the people in the building right now. NYDA's in the building. What up? Peter Griffin is up in here. AK-47's up in the building. Cam is up in here. Seeing Val 287 in here. Now, I hope that she got the notification, though she was saying that YouTube wasn't giving her the notification. What up? MBJ is in the building, baby man. Mitch is up in here. What's going on, my brother? Happy to see you up in this piece and everything else. You know what I mean? So I know that people have been saying that there has not been getting the notifications from YouTube. Something, YouTube funny like that sometimes, man. Sometimes they be doing so. Just make sure that when you click that bell and you get alerts, that you say you want all alerts, not just some alerts, blah blah. It's got to be specifically all alerts. That is the only way that we could definitely get all alerts. So we got a couple of 3 stories that we're going to talk about and everything else. Misbehaving said, I got a notification. That is what's up. That's what's up. That is what's up. I'm glad you did. Hope everybody is there and gets that notification. All right, so we got 3 stories we're going to get into. I don't know exactly how long this video will last on that, so we'll get into these 3 stories, and we'll see what up. First story, let's see right here if we can do this. Every time it's always messed up somehow. Let's see if we can get that a little bigger. All right, so we got Maisie Williams in this first story right now. We got Maisie Williams saying that she would play Arya Stark again. She's waiting on the tone. Now, people fell in love with Game of Thrones in part because of its relatability. Memorable characters, but sometimes the actors could just be entertaining. For instance, fans loved how close Maisie Williams, Arya Stark, and Cersei Toner, Sansa Stark, were on set, particularly since they played sisters in the series. It was perfect too. According to Digital Spy, there has been reports lately that the 2 friends are drifting apart, which on its face is a little weird. How dare 2 people who no longer see each other on the set every day live lives on their own, right? But speaking on the Table Manners podcast, it's clear Williams still has a lot of affection for her co-star, saying that she's more like a sister than a friend, and how great it was to have someone on Game of Thrones who was going through the same thing she was going through. And I would think that, on a hit show like that, they basically they grew up together. You know what I mean? And to have someone to share it with, I'm sure it had to be incredibly special for them. It also says here, and this is from winteriscoming.net. I put the link in the description. Growing up is difficult enough without the pressure of being in the public eye, so I can only imagine how helpful it was to have someone whose hand in the same boat as you. Being a teenager is hard. Then I was also in the show. Williams continued. I never knew who I was, but I've always come out on the other side now. I'm not that different to the girl I was trying to be but I was having a crisis. Williams said she used to get anxious whenever the cast had to promote the show at events, but she's more used to it now, especially having taken a big break from the spotlight. I'm facing things much better now. And at the bottom, it says right here, Maisie Williams is down to play Arya Stark again. Between her Frank Film Club and a role in the upcoming series about punk rock back the Sex Pistols, Williams is still out and about, but not doing anything on the order of I think you say, order or level, whatever, of Game of Thrones. And of course, she does not need to, but it's always possible she will return as the role of Arya Stark one day, and let us see what the young Stark sister has been doing since the show has ended. She says, well, I could do it because I didn't die. She said, I'm waiting for the call. So therefore, if she's waiting for the call, she is basically saying that she would take the role. If the role came about, and she would take it. Oh, look at Jenna S. Thank you so much. I love Tony. Let's put that. Let's make that. We got a super chat here. Oh my God! Look, I missed. Let me go back to the super chat. Thank you so much, Jenna S. I truly appreciate it. It says, I can't stay for the whole stream, but I keep missing you guys. I am sorry. I missed so many. I just want to spread the love, let you know I'm still here in spirit and can't wait to catch up. And thank you so much for showing the love. You know what I mean? We truly appreciate. I truly appreciate it, 100%. And as I said when the show first started, I'm going to have a definite time and schedule from now on, and it'll be the same day, same time every week, so that way you know exactly when that we'll be here. You know what I mean? Me, Phil, or myself, or whatever. But I just truly appreciate Super Chat. I really do, man. Man, I love you too. I got much love for you. So while we see this article here, basically saying that Maisie Williams is willing to come back and play Arya Stark again. Now, is that something that you would want to see? Would you like to see Maisie play Arya Stark again? I would like to let the people in the chat let me know how you feel. As always, Thug Mug is in here. Now we know that she aged out a couple of roles. I always thought that she'd be perfect for Last of Us, and but she aged out of that role. And we know Little Bear got that role. All right, Kelly Johnson says no. All right, it is. AK says, real talk. I've seen your name in the chat for a while. Appreciate. Oh, I guess that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. I should probably read that before I put that out there. All right, Kelly Johnson guesses she had her time in the sun. Let's see. George NYDA says George can't even finish Wins. Who's writing this sequel series? All right, so let's get into that. Let's talk about that for a second. Number one, people may say, is it possible? Can she do this? Could this series be going? Misbehaving, let's go there. There's no. Hated how the show ended her story. George liked the unexpected. It would have been unexpected if she settled down with Gendry. I think I agree with you. I predicted that she would do that, and I was wrong because I didn't do it in the show. I still think there's a good chance of that happening. Not Gendry, but Eddard Storm. I think that's going to happen, and they were combining the characters of Eddard Storm and Gendry. So that's why I thought it would be Gendry. But hey, we'll see. AK, I think this is about the top. He says Maisie could have been great for after your Battle Angel, but they chose to do the character in live action. I agree on that 100%. All right, so this is what I would say. Can this actually happen? That with Maisie Williams? Number one, yes. It has nothing to do with George R. R. Martin. He has no say in this matter. It has nothing to do with he wrote the books. It has nothing to do that there's no books planned past the Game of Thrones and Song of Ice and Fire series. He sold all of his rights to HBO. Therefore, HBO at any time can come out there and say, we want to continue the Arya Stark storyline, and we can hire whoever we want to write it, whoever we want to direct it, and there it goes. So it can be done. So let's get that right off the bat. If they wanted to do it, they could do it. There'd be nothing that could stop them from doing it. So let's go let's go on that right off the bat. Well, what up to Carla Wade, all the way from the land down under, Australia, chilling here. Howdy, folks. Can't say long, but wanted to drop by and show some love. Trust me, we appreciate it every time you stop by and everything else. We 100% appreciate that. Now we got that. So I know there may be people in the chat, and you may say to yourself, you may say, listen, Teflon, George ain't writing nothing after, but trust me, he sold his rights to everything. He has no creative control over these characters in any way. There's nothing he could say at all. You know what I mean? So that is that. So let's finish that off right. Let's get that out the way. All right. Now that we know that HBO truly wanted to do it, they could do it. Now let's look at it. Would you want to see what's west of Westeros? Now, if you ask the Don Tony Teflon, you know what I mean? I would say yes. I would love to see it. I would love to see her explore what's west of Westeros. Now, would I rather have George have source material for it? Yes, but do you need source material? You don't. You don't. In all honesty, I'm telling you, if you took me, all right, you took me right here. You took AK-47. You took some super fans out there who enjoyed. You took Quinn. You took Gray Area. You took a bunch of people like that, right? You know what I mean? And I guarantee you that we could come up with a story that would be good enough. I know I could. There's no doubt in my mind. If they asked me to write an Arya Stark sequel, I could write an Arya Stark sequel. I know I could. There's no doubt. Thank you for the super chat, Kelly Johnson. Kelly Johnson hit me up privately. He was asking me what's going on with the streaming. I was trying to explain to him. And thank you for being the homies. We'll be back. Phil, the issues guy, it will be here shortly. I do believe he's running late. You know what I mean? But if he gets home in time and I'm still on, he'll jump in there. All right. Maisie's career, night, like the dude that messed with T's honey's car. Listen, there's no doubt about it. Her homie's car. Her career is not what it should have been. I don't think all of that is to blame for it. You know what I mean? I don't think it all is to blame to it. The New Mutants role, I think any agent would have told her to take that role. Anyone. It's not their fault that the movie was terrible and it didn't do good. Anything else I look from her, I don't really see anything big. But that can go, you could say that for the whole cast of Game of Thrones, except for Jason Momoa. He's really the only one who came out of this thing, who wasn't a star beforehand, who came out of this thing better than when he went in. I mean, Kit Harington's career ain't done nothing. Now he's getting a chance with this Marvel movie, and he's not like it's his movie. He's just a character in the movie, a bit character at that. The Black Knight's not major. He's a love interest, but he's not a major player. He's never been a major player in the comic books. You know what I mean? So I don't think that, you know, if you look at everybody, I don't see anyone else whose career. Emilia Clarke's career didn't pan out. She did a couple of she did a romantic comedy. She did, oh my God, she did the prequel in Star Wars, which was just disgusting. I love her. I'm not talking about Emilia Clarke, but God damn it, it was disgusting. I don't think anyone would ever try to deny that was not. I mean, you have to really love Emilia Clarke. Thank you, Jenna S, for the super chat. D&D are like poison honey. They helped at first. Now everyone is like a dud. It's sad. You know, it's really sad, and I agree with you that a show that finished off, that was so good, finished so bad and left such a bad taste in people's mouth, solely on the fact that they wanted to move on to another project. And that's what really is a thing. Listen, if the ending is the way it is, and this is the way George wrote it, and this is the way it was supposed to be, if that was the case, then I 100% would say, listen, it's on George. If this is the way he wanted to do it, you can't say anything about this. This is the way it's going to end. But when you have them saying specifically, you know what I mean, they're saying specifically that they did this, you know what I mean, that they did this on their own. They're the ones who put this stuff out there and everything else. You know what I mean? You can't say anything about it. They're the ones who fucked this up. They fucked this up. Do I think some of those things that happen in the end will happen? And again, listen, in all honesty, We're seeing it right now. We're seeing it right now with Dexter, right? Dexter was a great show when it first started, right? Oh, the Terminator. Oh, my God, Terminator. That was terrible, right? Terminator was terrible. Oh my God. That was terrible. Kelly Johnson says she was a perfect role as a kid, but she grew up. Thank you for the super chat. And he says right here, oh, what about Amelia played a crackhead? I don't know if I've seen her playing a crackhead. I don't know if I've seen her. I don't know if I've seen her. I would like to see her and everything else. But yeah, that Terminator movie, that is terrible. Thank you for the super chat, Kelly. I truly appreciate it. But you know when I look at the people who came off that show, they didn't do good. So as I was saying, Dexter ended terribly. Terrible ending. A great show for the first 3 seasons, started sucking. They got Jan Lithgow came in there, resurrected it, and then it just went disgusting. They wanted to do a little incest with the sister and have the sister kill. I don't want to spoil it for people who never seen Dexter, but everyone hated the ending. Everyone hated the ending. Couldn't stand it. And now here they are doing a new season of Dexter 5 to 10 years later. And I guarantee they're going to do that to make the ending better, all right? To straighten it, to fix that bad taste in people's mouth. That's the reason why they're doing it. That's why it's going to go down. Could they do that again with Arya Stark season? If they did Arya Stark, could they make Arya Stark, bring Arya Stark in there, and somehow make you forget about or rest the ending that they put out there? Would that work for you? If they did let's just say right now they did Game of Thrones Arya thing, and it was a great show. Let's just say it's a tremendous show. Would that be enough to make you say, all right, fuck that ending, this show, made up for it? Because that's what House of the Dragon is trying to do. House of the Dragon is trying to say, forget about that ending that you just seen in Game of Thrones, right? That's what House of the Dragon wants. They're like, forget about that ending. Don't worry about that. This is a brand new thing we're putting out there. We got George in here. We're bringing in good writers. Don't worry about that. We're going to make it up to you. Would this make it up to you if it was a direct sequel for it and it was Arya Stark in it? And then maybe you have a cameo with Sansa. Right? Kelly Johnson says the North remembers it. Sure do. No doubt about it. Tony Stevens say, nope, can't have it. All right, I'm just saying, this is what they're banking on. So maybe they could, that feeling they could pull it off. Dexter is, see, the thing, I think the difference with Dexter is, now, even though they killed off people they can't bring back in the show that they shouldn't have killed off, the main character was Dexter, and the main character is still going to be in it. This is more of an ensemble group. And listen, if you brought back Jon Snow, let's think about it. If you had an Arya show, and she went west of Westeros, and somehow you had to come back and you brought back Kit Harington as Jon Snow, and you show what was going on between him and the wildlings up north. You finish that. If you show Sophie Turner and her as Queen of the North up there doing her thing up there, if you had Sam Tarly there and Bran as the king, and you show what was going on, I think people would watch it. I think people watch it, but I think that it'd be better if you just focused, if you left all the riffraff out and just strictly focused on Arya as a faceless man assassin going around assassinating people. I would love to see that without a shout out. Kelly Johnson says, I want to see T Teflon as Brown Ben Plum. Well, I'm brown, so I could definitely do it. I don't know if I'm old enough. Thank you to play Brown Ben. If they want to cast him as a younger man, I think that I could probably play a Brown Ben Plum. I think I could pull it off without a shadow of a doubt. A little younger. All right. So before we go into any more, I'm going to 1 second. I'm going to give the link. Make sure Phil has the link. If he can come up in here 1 second. So let me send this out to this man. All right. put that in there. So that way he can join and everything. All right. AKA says they'd have to give you that Thor fat suit and a wrinkle face and mask, but they go, yeah, if you gave me some prosthetics or something, you want to change it around. You know what I mean? I could definitely do it. NYDA said Tony would definitely play a better Salvador San. I could have done Salvador San. I could have did Grey Worm. I would have gotten better shape too, faster, and put on more weight. Because I'm like 190 right now. So I would probably bulked up to like 200 of muscle, 10 more pounds of muscle, and I would have played Grey Worm like that. The problem with the character of Grey Worm to me was he was just too skinny. He was too skinny to be believable. You know what I mean? And I would have been like to the actress of Masanje, I'd have been like, listen, girl, I'm having problems with these lines, these sex scenes. I'm feeling a little uncomfortable. Maybe you have to come over to my trailer so we can go over them a couple, or just let's go into the water, and where I'm looking at you through the water. I mean, we could just do that scene over and over again. Can we run that, girl? I'd have to run like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, he may not have no balls in the show, but goddamn it, I got him in real life. And it would have been old and popping, baby. Let me tell you, I'll be on that set. I'd be like, ride the dragon, motherfucker, ride the dragon. That's exactly where that shit would have went, man. I'm trying to tell you. AK saying, fun fact, Teflon TV, AMC is doing an interview with Vampire series, and Grey Worm is playing the part of Lewis. That was the part Brad Pitt played in the. Oh, are you talking about interview? Oh, interview with the vampires. They're doing that over. Now, that's all my fault too. I was supposed to do an interview with the vampire thing with Costume Co. and never got around to doing it. It's supposed to be me, Costume Co., LMR, and I don't know why. Why did we never get around to doing that? I'm going to contact her about that. And we should have done that. That was supposed to be done already. And I don't know why we didn't do it. So now that they're having this, maybe it's a perfect opportunity to do it. Maybe that's why we didn't do it. Maybe we got stalled for that. So, I'm going to talk to Costume Co. and see if we can resurrect that idea and go back out there and do that again and see what it is. That's what's up. That is how we try to do it. So we'll definitely, I'm gonna contact Heidi and see what's good with that. You know what I mean? Good looks on that AK-47. We appreciate that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But we definitely, I'm gonna see if I can get back on that and everything else. Priscilla Wright, invite me. You're invited. You're definitely invited. Everybody's invited. Do it live. Do it live, as Bill O'Reilly would say, right? All right, you know what I mean. So that is what we're talking about, dealing with Arya Stark. We'll come back to that story in a little bit when Phil gets here. We'll come back to it. Our next topic of the day is that Marvel has a new video game coming out, and the new video game is from the creators of XCOM. I'm going to explain. If you're a Marvel studio person, I'm going to explain to you everything about this real quick, and I'm gonna let you know all this about this. Right. So first we have to stop sharing that to share something new. Let's do this real quick so you can see it. What I'm talking about here. There it is. So they dropped the trailer for it today. It is called Marvel's Midnight Suns. All right. Midnight Suns is the new Marvel video game coming out. And it's very interesting. There's a lot of interesting things you could take from this, because this game is basically about fighting magical creatures. And if you look at everybody's armor in here, you could see they all have like magical ruins in it. All the armor has magical ruins. Now we know from Spider-Man's movie coming out that he has a magic armor from Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange is in this movie. All right. So Getting back to this, so this does most likely tie in to what we see in this movie. I'll read a little bit of the article and then we'll talk about it. All right, it said the next game for Raxus, XCOM's leader, is set in the obscure corner of the Marvel comic universe. Titled Marvel's Midnight Suns, developed of the turn-based role-playing game, is led by Jake Solomon, designer XCOM, Eddie Manon, and XCOM 2. The big draw here is the heroes and anti-heroes, many of them who have never worked together before in any previous Marvel storyline. Farasis confirms that Iron Man, Captain America, Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, Blade, Nico Moreau, Magic, Robert Reigns as Ghost Rider, Robbie Reigns as Ghost Rider, that's the Mexican version, and Wolverine will all be playable. And there will be a total of 13 allied heroes in all, drawn from Avengers, X-Men, Runaway, and beyond. Revealed Wednesday at Gamescom 2021, publisher XCOM Games plans to bring the Marvel's Midnight Suns to the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, PC, via stream and Epic Games Store, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and Series X in March 2022. And I know that without a doubt they are doing what they are doing. They're gonna show footage of this is going to come. So let me explain to you. Let me explain to you straight up like this. All right, I am an XCOM fanatic. I still play XCOM to this game. That's the only game I truly play on a regular basis. So let me explain to you what this game, if it's developed by the XCOM people, I would think that they went to them because they like the way that they did the games, and that's the reason why they have them there. So on that note, if it plays like XCOM, the way it's going to be, XCOM is a turn-based strategy game. So this will be a turn-based game, meaning that you go, and after you're done with all your moves, then the enemies go. All right, those games are better for old people like me because you can concentrate. You ain't got all this stuff going all over the place. All right, that's why I like those games. But I think it could be a very unique game. If y'all are really more interested in, I could play around the XCOM on here for you one time and show you exactly how it goes. But I do think that this is going to be it's going to have some type of tie to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's not a coincidence that they're having this. And Kay says, do you think there are Doctor Strange that are a usual Doctor Strange in the trailer? I'm calling him being possessed or a secret variant. We not only getting the multiverse set up for a secret war. So I'm doing a video. I was supposed to finish it today. And the title of the video is "That's Not Doctor Strange." I have come up with 15 different things that point to that not being Doctor Strange. In that, and we're about to go into that topic in a little bit, talking about that. But yeah, I could definitely do it. Phil is here. He is here. I'm waiting for him to give the okay. Then we'll bring him on in here and stuff. But the Midnight Suns game, I think, is going to be an XCOM 2 style game, which I think will be great, especially lending itself to the Marvel Universe. September 1st is the same day that we debut, me and Phil debut our new show, is going to be the day debut game for this trailer. And then I'll be able to talk more about it. But I do think it's interesting. All right, I think he's ready to go. Let's bring him in here. All right, what's going on, brother?
How's it going, guys? How's it going, Tony?
Great. We're talking about this Midnight Suns game just released. Came out with the trailer today for Marvel, made by the XCOM 2 developers. And what I was saying is that right here you can see that inside all their armors they have magical ruin spells all in their armor. And so we see in the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer that he has a magical suit made by Doctor Strange. So I don't think it's a coincidence that this game is coming out.
Yeah, there's probably some tie-ins in some ways. And I also enjoy turn-based games. In fact, whenever I get off this, I'm going to go play some Civilization. It's not exactly the same kind of games, but turn-based. But I kind of started one of my video game runs with Command and Conquer and StarCraft, which led ultimately to this kind of game. But I'm excited about this. I used to love those Marvel Ultimate Alliance games, and it's not the same thing. Those are more like Gauntlet kind of games, Diablo-ish or whatever. I like the idea of turn-based. Not only is it good for old folks so they can concentrate on what's going on, also it's good for hippies with smoking because you don't have to you can like pause between turns and really think about it.
Yeah.
And there was actually, strangely enough, for the Switch, if anyone wants to try a game like this and they're not full to go all the way down that road because XCOM might freak them out early, there's a Mario game. Obviously, Nintendo and Ubisoft know how to kind of do things lightly. There's a game called Mario versus Rabbids. It's an XCOM kind of game with Mario characters and the Rabbids from the Rayman series, and it's a crossover game, and it's a lot of fun. It's not as deep as you'll get with an XCOM, but it kind of can introduce you to that kind of game, and that's probably what this game will. Early levels, it will hold people's hands that might come in for the Marvel aspect of it, and then kind of amp up the difficulty as it goes on. Especially, I like it being from the same designers of XCOM, so it's going to have that pedigree to it.
Yeah, everyone has copied XCOM. Like ever since XCOM's come out, there has been a billion turn-based games trying to be like this. The only one that is even it didn't. This game came out before XCOM. The only other game like this that I truly play would be Fire Emblem. Like I think the Fire Emblem games are phenomenal, and that's basically the same type of game XCOM is. Different.
The other one I would mention from around the same time as Fire Emblem came out, and it's hard to see who influenced who there, would be the Shining Force games, which were more of a Sega thing, which are almost very similar to Fire Emblem. I'm a huge fan of the Fire Emblem series as well. I just finished Three Houses for the fourth time, which is the most recent one from the Switch. It's really great because Fire Emblem takes the step further too by adding a little bit more story than you'll get in some games like this too. But you're right, the action and like you're playing chess and a video game.
Yes, that's basically what it is. And my daughter, I got her into it playing. She was very young. I got her into it, and she was on the chess team actually because she liked the game so much and dominated on the chess team. And still to this day, she plays all the Fire Emblem games and everything. And
I love them. There's
like it's a little bit creepy where you being a teacher and taking a shower with your students, but besides that, I like to.
No, there's this whole section where part of the storyline is if you take it in a certain direction in the most recent game, the ultimate goal of it is you end up marrying one of your students, and it's a little creepy. They don't take it quite as far as some other Fire Emblem games where you can have kids and you can basically breed yourself in some Fire Emblem games. It gets weird, especially the ones on the 3DS. They were that. Some could say that one of them was like the pinnacle, but they went in a slightly different direction with Three Houses. But I definitely love it. I love that you're talking video games now. This is I could talk about this shit all day. But this does look like a really fun game. I think not enough excellent superhero property video games exist. There are some that are good, but the excellent ones are few and far between. The Arkham series is obviously, I'd say, the pinnacle of that. And I'd say Marvel Ultimate Alliance games for the PS2, the Spider-Man games, a couple Spider-Man games have been great. But we growing up, through our video game age, if we're talking, we hiked to school in 12 feet of snow. There were so many shitty video games for superhero type stuff. We grew up with that Atari Superman and crappy Batman games. And I mean, the Batmans for NES were pretty good, but
that was good. I'm not gonna go. The Batman for NES.
NES was good. Yeah, those two games were good.
We got 2 super chats. Let's get through them real quick. Kelly Johnson says, Phil, could T perform in the rock and roll circus? Could I perform in the rock and roll circus?
Absolutely. I would have Tony host the rock and roll circus, like introduce all the acts, be MC for the evening. And I would also I'm already somewhere in my mind working on a song someday where Tony has to collaborate with me. So Tony would absolutely be invited to the rock and roll circus.
Definitely on. Jenna S says, Tony, you light up when you speak about your daughter. You sound like such a fantastic father. Hi, Phil. Well, thank you so much. I love my children, both of them. But Chloe, there's no favorites, but Chloe's my Chloe.
There's no favorites, but
I would just say that me and Chloe have more in common. My oldest daughter and I, Charisma, she acts like me. Like we have the same attitude, so we clash a lot, So that's what it basically, because no one wants to give an inch, so we clash a lot. But Chloe doesn't act like me, and she likes everything I like, so we just get along better. I don't love her any more than I love my Charisma. I love them both love them both equally, but me and Chloe just happen to get along better because of it. All right, that's Midnight Suns. We're gonna circle back now. We got Phil here.
Yeah, and I was listening on my way home. I think okay. To your point, there can be an Arya Stark series. HBO Tony is 100% correct. HBO controls this property like a puppet master right now. They can do whatever they want. George is lucky they let him in the door to work on stuff right now. They don't have to. Dan and Dave locked him out, or he locked himself out. I don't know what happened there. Maybe a true book will be written at some point. George will write a tell-all about the end, about what it really was like working in that situation when they wouldn't do Lady Stoneheart and they just kept stonewalling him, pun intended. Over and over again, and he felt ousted by the situation. And as Tony said, it's a shame that this property, and it's not even because I'm necessarily selfish for it. I am a huge Game of Thrones fan, like so many other people, but I'm a victim to a lot of fandoms when it comes down to it. But it's a shame that Dan and Dave, being in a hurry to do a Star Wars movie that they never ended up getting to be able to do because they fucked it up. It's one of those funny things of life. Like, they fucked up this property, and then because they wanted to go into another property, it was being fucked up anyway. And it's just a big messed up situation. But to answer your question, could there be an Arya series? Yes. And I wouldn't be surprised if if House of Dragons does not do what they hope it to do, going back to the characters they know. Because again, I've said this a million times, we're not looking. I think some people aren't necessarily looking at this the way that they should, in the sense that it's not about if it's going to be a great series quality wise. It's not about if it's going to satisfy us fans, and us hardcore Song of Ice and Fire fans that will wait forever for George to write those books and will always be a fan of this series and this world. HBO needs this to take off. If they're going to keep sinking money into this, they need this to not be quite as big as the original series was, but enough that people are talking about it in that light, whether it be critically, whether it be fandom. It's making them money. It's bringing back that property again, because what Dan and Dave did at the end with the series, regardless of what the story is, I just mean in the way that it was rushed off, possibly destroyed the property in the mainstream audience forever. It has this stigma, I know, but I'm going to say it in a stigmata. It's got this stigmata to it that people that I've washed off a long time ago, but for a lot of people, they don't, and they're not going to give anything a shot. And if they could do this Arya series, yes, but I still think a lot of people are going to go in, and that might open old wounds as well. Mm-hmm. The big question is, who does write it? How does it work? It could be interesting. They could, but then I think that only works. Oh God, I'm going to be a morbid motherfucker. I think that only works if George doesn't ever really finish the books. And then they have to do more, in a sense, where I don't know if that makes sense in an odd way. I don't know.
It does. Let me jump in real quick, and I'm going to answer. I see Tony Sledden here saying a couple of things. I'm going to answer Tony Sledden in a second. Kelly Johnson says, T, who's the best female fighter you ever met in real life? I will say without a shadow of a doubt, Kelly Martin, the coal miner's daughter. I met her many a times. I went to dinner with her, had drinks with her at the bar. My friend, Dawn Kelly, who was the ex-wife of Kevin Kelly, boxer, is tremendous friends with her. Really good friends with her. And if you ever want me to do it, she has a new documentary out about her right now that's on Netflix. I think this came out this week. So definitely check that out. I forgot the name of it, but it's about it. She's the great. There would not be female boxing popular without her. She's the first female boxer. She owns the record for most knockouts of any female boxer in history. I
remember seeing her in a lot of Tyson undercards.
Yeah, that's how Don King promoted. They put on all the Mike Tyson undercard fights. But Christy Martin, the coal miner's daughter, and if you don't know her story and what happened to her, definitely watch it. It's not just a boxing story. Definitely, and if y'all, maybe that me and Alan Mar would do something on. I know we usually do something. I'll talk to her about that and see what it is. Kelly Johnson, Super Chat says, Phil, we don't have any more cheeks to turn.
Yes,
I would say this. All right, let me break this down. I'll give it to you like this, Phil. So we could all agree here that that Dexter was disgusting the way it ended. Mm-hmm. But we see that They're trying to redo it, right? You see them bringing back Dexter. They waited a few years and they said, all right, we're going to end. Now, the only reason they're bringing back Dexter is because they're going to end it the way it should have been ended. Oh, they're going to hope, there's no other reason to bring it back unless they realize that ending sucked. Everyone hated it. And they said, all right, we're going to try to fix this. Could an Arya Stark series do that for Game of Thrones if they did it right?
No, I think the only thing for the mainstream audience that could do that is a re-roll of the entire final season. I think that's what the average John Q pretending that thing. I don't think that would be good enough unless they recanonize it in like 5 minutes and go back. It could be a great series, but I don't know. I don't think it's the same thing where Dexter, the character, I don't know, maybe. I think you make an interesting point because a lot of shows are trying that in some way, shape, or form. I akin the Game of Thrones thing more to How I Met Your Mother in the sense that it reached that conclusion that you couldn't go. You saw the end point of the storyline where Dexter, they almost left it in a limbo, and that was what was shitty about the ending. They didn't conclude it. They left it in this way that he wasn't responsible for anything, and he's a lumberjack, and he doesn't care. He sleeps all night, and he sleeps all day. I think Game of Thrones is more. Could they do a Lost thing to make up for the Lost finale to people?
Yeah, let me answer. Tony Sled, I have to 100% disagree to you about on this, and that's just there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying it in a bad way, but saying that it would be restricted to what George R. R. Martin allows, no. George sold his rights to the whole shebang. Every character, every storyline, every book that he writes or will write dealing with A Song of Ice and Fire, he has no control over. They could adapt it any way they want. They could take those characters and do anything. George has no say. He has no
They
say.
could do a hot pie cooking show if they wanted to.
They want to do that, they can do it. They could do whatever you want.
I'm surprised they haven't released the hot pie cookbook yet.
They should have. And now it worked. So when we look at what George gave up for the money, he has no say in this at all. You know what I mean? So that is the whole thing. Now, could George come out and harpoon stuff they put out there and say, well, he did. When Game of Thrones was going on, he would always say, well, the books are my baby, the show is their baby. And that's it. And that's what he would always say. You know, when they did the Cersei Lannister, Jaime Lannister scene that looked like a rape scene, George first came out quick on them and was like, hey. That's not the way it was supposed to be. That's not the way I wrote it. I didn't write that like that. You know, he came out quick and real fast. He did on them. So he could do that. He could definitely say that. But if they wanted to do it, they could.
They could. And would I mind seeing it at this point? No, fuck the heck all. I'll see it. I'd watch that. I'd watch the hell out of that show. Is it going to make a difference to maybe? But I think a lot of it would depend on how it was written, as you said earlier. Who writes it? Do they tap George for it? Because someone just said it in the chat. I think it was Tony Sled, that the mystery, the hook with it would be the mystery of what is west of Westeros. Actually exploring that, as silly as in the moment in the episode as I thought it sounded, but the concept behind it, and the concept behind following Arya through a different kind of swashbuckling show and her barely surviving on the water because she's never been there, like actually facing the situation that she would be in there, never really spending a lot of time on a ship except for the ship to Bravos, and being the captain there and dealing with mutinies and dealing with all, like, whatever they could. Like you said, you could write a good show. I'll hire Tony as lead writer of that show. Right. And he's coming up with better things than I could even say right now. Would I want to see that? Yeah. But from a television show standpoint, and again, I think it's part of splitting these things into two different entities. In the television standpoint, it is an HBO television show. It's not a Song of Ice and Fire universe. That thing that we watched is an HBO television show, and if they want to sequelize it, they can sequelize it. If they want to reboot it and do it all again, they could do it all again if they wanted. It's all.
I would if I did it. Number one, I would have. This is what I do. I put it in a land that has a lot of Asian people and a lot of black people. That's number one. That'd be the first thing I do with it. I would definitely have to put the Asians and the black people in it, and then I'd have a kingdom going on over there. And then I would say, all right, how is Arya? Will Arya Stark? Will we put her as the next Varys for some king, or we have her establish a faceless man thing over there, or is she being hunted by the faceless man during the season?
I like that. I like that.
I mean?
Each one of those could be a different season arc.
Yeah.
Because they could almost do a Bruce Lee thing where she takes the teachings of the faceless man and she opens her own school where she's using some of their teachings mixed with stuff she's learned from Brienne and just the Hound, things along the way, like every piece. So her style is more like water and is like anything, it's true. And she meets up with Serial Pharrell on the way, who's actually alive and accompanies her on many adventures. I mean, I'm half kidding, but that's going to happen if they did that. He would be alive. That would answer that question. They would totally add him to the show. He would just be one of the crewmates on the ship. He already is, and we don't know it. But I think that would be fun. Like, again, if we could do it just as a fun show, I would almost like it I'm a big proponent of an anthology series. Things like, we haven't seen them in a while. The Walking Dead is doing one eventually. And I think it's the last chance we have for some good Walking Dead stories. When you have 15, 20 minute, 2 or 3 15, 20 minute tales in maybe only like 6 or 7 episodes a year or something like that, where you have many different tales throughout Westeros on a show where you have the host be hot pie or something stupid, like you have the host be in the tavern, and then you go over to like a crypt keeper kind of thing, and then you go over to each section in West. Today we're going to be looking at another adventure from Jaime Lannister that's forgotten about through time. Here, let's go over here.
I think this is what Hollywood does, and I think this would be the wrong thing. Hollywood would make it like, all right, Arya Stark, she goes over there, and all of a sudden there's some little girl who just acted just like her that she winds up finding herself, and then she starts training with her because it reminds her of herself.
They have the little mini Arya.
That's what they do in Hollywood. Let's get to these super chats real quick. We got 2 right here. I think Kelly Johnson, Phil, right? We need a reboot with a Jon Snow focus. We could do a Jon Snow Beyond the Wall thing too if they really wanted to. We could talk about that one second. And Jenna S, thank you for the super chat. And I just feel like nobody really wants any more from GOT Universe.
Yep, I agree.
How they treated the fans, we're all banking on House of the Dragon to reset, but my hopes personally aren't high. Listen, we all are, and I'm gonna be honest with you, because I'm always honest. I never lie to you. But I'm the creator of Game of Thrones content on YouTube, so it benefits me for the show to be good, right? So I definitely have a slight bias towards it because I want it to be good. Because the better it does, most likely the better my channel can
do. But people are still pissed. You mentioned Game of Thrones out at a bar in public arenas with John Q, average television watcher. They're still salty about it. They're way more salty than the fans are. So, I mean, some fans still are, but I'm telling you, I'm out there with the people. I'm out there with the people, and I get so much. If you even mention, Game of Thrones is doing look at any forum, any place, and if House of the Dragons is mentioned, there's someone that pops in there that doesn't know anything, goes, "Fuck Dan and Dave, fuck HBO for ruining Game of Thrones," or something like that. Bang, bang, bang. There's so much. House of the Dragon has to be really good to save this. Could they do it if this first episode they just knock it out of the park? The Beatles replaced their drummer and everyone booed Ringo the first time he was there, but after the first show they're like, okay, he can stay. So maybe House of the Dragon will kill it, and if House of the Dragon kills it, we might see that Arya series. If that first domino falls and people start drinking the Game of Thrones, the Song of Ice and Fire Kool-Aid again, if George can save this with House of the Dragon and Miguel Shapushnik there, then yeah, we might see that. We might see an Arya short. We might see a 90-minute Arya short instead of a season of it or something. I could see them do it, or a movie, like an Arya Stark movie. Like,
you got Fizzy Be Good saying nothing can save God for me. There's a lot of people out there like that. A lot of because a lot of Game of Thrones fans aren't book readers. right? There's two different people here. There's book reader fans, and then there's Game of Thrones fans. And a lot of the book people who didn't read the books, who would just like the show, said the show sucked. I'm done with it.
Yeah, the stakes weren't high for them anyway. And then people like me that came to it show first, book second. And I'm not saying it's dead to me, but I'm just saying, like, from my perspective, I came show first and then absorbed the books after the fact. I'd heard about the books ahead of time, but I didn't read them or absorb them yet. I watched season 1 first and then got into it. No pun intended. But so from people like me that I know that I talk to in this context, Game of Thrones will always be that final season right now. Just like How I Met Your Mother will always be that final season. Lost will always be the show that doesn't answer the questions. And that's a shame. Can Game of Thrones, from a mainstream audience standpoint, Tony, can Game of Thrones break out of that? Can it rewrite its thing and forget about that? Can it be the boxer that got knocked out and come back and win its next 3 fights? And then do you think it can happen legitimately?
I don't know if it could truly happen. I really wish it would, but legitimately, I wouldn't put my money on it. I would not. Like, if someone said bet money,
I'm asking you to bet on. I'm asking you to. We're in Vegas right now. You have to put 50 grand on Game of Thrones getting back on top in our lifetime again.
House of the Dragon, back to that high a level. I would.
Or to Better Call Saul to Breaking Bad, or Frasier to Cheers, like respected enough.
Frasier's better than Cheers, right? So it did.
We're gonna do a show about that. I don't know.
I'm just saying it won more awards than Cheers.
It did. Right? It's at least its equal. It's at least its equal.
Well, it's to the fan, but in Hollywood's perspective, it's a more successful show than Cheers ever was. It won more awards than it. So it would be hard for House of the Dragon to do that.
Could it be Better Call Saul?
It's possibly it could be. I think it could be the Jeffersons to the All in the Family. All in the Family. I think it's
Laverne and Shirley to Happy Days.
It could be that. I don't know. Happy Days is better than Laverne and Shirley.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so Happy Days to Laverne and Shirley. The other way. I mean, Happy Days.
It could be like, because there's things that are holding it back. Number one thing I think holding it back is it only going to be released on HBO Max app? Right?
No, they need to full on regime. That's a different show for a different day. What Tony and I will do a whole episode somewhere where we because I don't know where I come upon it, but I'll take the devil's advocate and argue the Cheers in that situation. Right. They're both the best.
I wouldn't disagree with you about the Cheers and thing.
Regime said Cheers was better, Tony.
Yeah, I'm just saying that Hollywood standards. Mm-hmm. They will tell you that Frasier is better because
I don't know which one's better, and that's what's amazing about both shows is I can't tell you which. Like, I couldn't tell you. There's some moment.
We'll talk about that. We're going to a tirade about it. We'll talk about that in a second.
Kelly Johnson's super chat here. Animated Game of Thrones in Bruce Timm style would be awesome. I think I would love to see them do. That's where you might see a complete reimagination of the entire Song of Ice and Fire story in an animated fashion. I would pay for that.
All right. So next thing I would say, all right. So Alexander Wilson says, according to Patriots Analytics, when House of the Dragon pictures and film came out, it was the #1 trending show in America. Listen, the thing is, the whole thing is this: HBO wants to sell HBO Max. So if they believe that this show, if people are going to want to watch this show, it's to them, it's best. Put it on HBO Max. You have to watch it if you have HBO Max. If you love this show, you're going to watch HBO Max. That, if it was on regular HBO, coming out the same, I think it could be, because I really believe it's a better storyline than Game of Thrones. It's more compact. And I think that the ending is better, and there's a lot more dragons involved in it. There's a lot of things going for it that I think that people would like more if they actually went there and watched it. So
then they need to give it to the people in any way, shape, or form. They need to just air it on HBO every Sunday night at 9:00 again, as well as on the HBO app. Double stream it, get that as to many audiences. Because believe it or not, there are still a few loyal television watching people that like appointment viewing. and they want to tune in at a certain time of day. There's not water cooler talk anymore, but there's internet message board chats and shit. People want to be able to talk about the show the night it comes out. I think The Walking Dead shoots itself in the foot a little bit, releasing it a week early because it defeats some of the buzz when the episode actually comes out. I think they should just air it on the HBO app live and on HBO at the same time. Another super chat.
Yeah, another super chat here from Jed S. Thank you so much. He said, all right, my darlings, I have to check out. I'll catch up tomorrow. Busy day tomorrow. Thank you for spending this time with me. Such a fun topic. Can't wait till we meet again. Have a special night. Oh, thank you for showing the love and the support.
Until we meet again, Jenna.
Until we meet again. As I said, we'll be back next week. The first, we'll start the Game of Thrones show, and then we'll be here again on Wednesday doing the update video for whatever news there is in the week up until that time. We'll do those two show streams every week, same time, guaranteed. We'll be at the same time, so you'll definitely have that, and we'll have the time straightened out, so we don't have to worry about that. So you can.
I might want to add a story here at the end.
Of course. So you can set if you got pictures or anything you want to set up.
I don't. It's more just random Phil rant of the week. It's not even entertainment based. We'll talk about it in a bit. I don't want to hijack.
Get into it. We can go right into.
Okay, I want to talk. I want to talk a little bit about how it's hilarious that the company that runs the site OnlyFans decided to ban pornography, and then when they saw all the backlash of half their audience disappearing and people complaining about it, they went back on it 2 weeks later because they realized they'd go out of business. They're like, we're not getting loans from the bank. It seems like this is the beginning of the end for that particular platform if another platform arises that can take its place. It reminds me of a MySpace kind of move where a Facebook needs to come in for that particular landscape and take it over. I just think it's hilarious when a company's like, they're like, oh, we can't get loans from the bank or banks giving us shit. So we're just going to destroy half of our business, put a bunch of people out of business, or they just were doing it to create buzz, to create the feedback, to put pressure on the banks to be able to keep doing business. Either way, it's a shitty thing to do to your core base that uses your platform. And I just think it's hilarious that they went back on it. I haven't seen a U-turn like that in a long time.
I was just speaking about my boy. I was speaking to him about it. And I thought that I said, well, maybe their plan is to take it off of this and then start an OnlyFans subscription service with that split, and then have two sites. I thought maybe that was the reason why they were going to it. Maybe they're going to do, an OnlyFans Netflix type thing or something like that, where you get everything for one. You could watch anything you want. You know what I mean? You pay $9.99 a month. And now you can watch any
like a subscription basis, yeah. And then you get you
get the porn, you get all that stuff and everything. I thought they were doing that. That's what I thought it was going to go down. I thought that was their plan, but they caved so fast that maybe that was their plan. They just didn't have it set up right. Like if you do have a plan to do that, you have to have that ready to go.
No, exactly. Chat roulette tried something like that when they first came out, and everyone was busy on the chat roulette, and then they were like, people were like, oh, I don't want to see people jerking off every other time. So they started trying to ban that stuff. And then they set up a way that you have to verify and get your picture taken if you get caught doing it, and all sorts of stuff and safeguards. And then they eventually set up a dirty side and a safe side. But OnlyFans is set up in a way where it's specifically about the content creator. It's in some ways it's just another Patreon for some people that use it. The 25% that use it for that. But
I'm going to do this for this person right here. I'm cool with these people right here. This is if y'all I don't know if y'all do like OnlyFans, but if you do, I'm going to implore you to go follow this person in OnlyFans.
Excellent, right? Please do.
I'm gonna show it right now, right? If y'all into OnlyFans, go follow this young lady's OnlyFans. Gorgeous young lady.
Take power.
I know her personally, and so I would say, go follow her, Miss Maisie K. Right here. Right here. She has an OnlyFans site. Right there. She's a fantasy football guru. She's fun size, Texas Asian. Here's some pictures of her. You can see her right here. I mean, she has a fight. Let's see. That's not her. That's someone she's about.
I love Twitter. I love Twitter sometimes. I love the non-censored approach to Twitter. I wonder if YouTube's gonna flag the video right there because we just showed porn.
I don't know if we did. They don't say the word. You know, they pick things up from the words and everything. So here's a good picture of her right there. You know, I would go follow her. You know what I mean? She's got beautiful tattoos, snake and roses. I mean, if you're really paying attention to the tattoos and all that. But yeah, I would say go follow her, Ms. Maisie K. All right,
not Maisie Williams.
Nope, Miss Maisie K. Go shout out to my girl Miss Maisie K. It's my home girl right there. So definitely go check her out if you're into OnlyFans and everything else like that.
Yeah, but I'm sorry to sidetrack it a little bit from entertainment. I just thought it was it is a kind of entertainment, and I think it's hilarious when companies pivot like that. There's something else going on there, like you suggested, or they did it for a PR move to kind of put pressure on the people that were putting pressure on them to show what would happen if they did that and how much money that they would lose. There was something behind the scenes. You don't pivot and turn around that quickly if there's not some hinky BS going on behind closed doors.
Something was going on. All right, we lost some subscribers, so let's keep it good. Some viewers, they ain't like that. All right, sorry about the people who offended about that. We'll go right back to talking about what we were talking about. Oh, it's just getting late, maybe. Who knows? I will say this. House of the Dragon has the chance to do better because fucking dragons. People love dragons. People love dragons. And the fact that you're going to get, I think, because I remember like when people were like, who never read the books, right? Like my friend Joe Verrera, and he was watching the first season. And when that ended and the baby dragons were born, that's all I seen. Yo, dragons, son. Yo, there's dragons right there. Yo, son, dragons out there. Oh my God, dragons. You know what I mean? So people love dragons, and I think that those dragons could save it. And since we're sidetracked, I'm gonna play one more sidetrack. Go ahead, Phil.
No, I was gonna say that there is something to be said though that, excuse me, at the time that Game of Thrones first came out, CG was a thing, but those dragons it was some of the first times people have seen things like that where we're at a day where people are a little bit more desensitized to digital effects. I hope that they do it right, and I do agree with you that they could really turn some faces and turn some eyes with some amazing dragon stuff within these stories. I don't know this story as much as you do, so I'm going in it a little more naked to the storyline from a television standpoint, which is awesome. But I do know, the bullet points of the story. So I know there's going to be tons and tons of dragon combat.
It's a much better story. It's because it's a much better story because it's not spread out. Like Game of Thrones is spread out over here and over there and over there and over there. Now,
do you have a set amount of seasons that you would think to tell this story correct?
5 seasons, I think, is all it can do. I can't see it doing over 5.
Okay.
5 would if 5 could be stretching it. I would say 5 seasons is all it could do.
I think we'll get 5 seasons no matter what then, because HBO will stick with the show for at least 4 or 5 years to try to launch it. I mean, The Wire got no ratings and they stuck with it a long time.
All right, this is an intermission real quick. We're going to do this real quick now. A lot of people have been doing these crate challenges, which is funny to me. Like when I was younger, we used to walk on building ledges.
Yeah,
like 7-story building ledges. And I'm not advising anyone to do that as a challenge. Don't do it. All right, it's stupid. We were stupid for doing it. But we did things like this. Now these kids do these crate challenges. So let's look at this crate challenge here. I'm going to pause it right now. Now, the beginning, let me say, she wobbled on the first bucket, right? If you're going to wobble on the first bucket, maybe you shouldn't go for the second one. What do you think about that, Phil?
No, I think if the first step is a little bit too much, it's time to go pack up and try again.
You would think it's time to pack up, right? The first step, you can see the wobble.
I feel like this isn't going to end
right? All right. All right. So, Phil, she has made it this far up.
Sorry.
What is your prediction of what's going to happen from here on out?
She's going to get it to the top, and she's going to do a double backflip twist cell cow into a perfect dive into the kiddie pool that's located just on the opposite side of those buckets. No, I have a feeling we're going to see a Jenga-like situation.
All right. See, the thing that makes it like when you have to put 2 feet on the bucket, the crate, there's a problem.
Now, I've gone through, these things aren't sturdy.
No, you should only have 1 foot on every crate. If you have to put 2, then you're in trouble. All right, here we go. Let's roll it.
Oh, that happened a lot. That happened a lot sooner than I thought it was going to happen. Oh, my back, my neck, and my back. Dun 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 dun.
You know what makes me laugh the most about this? That she tries to grab something. Like, watch her hand. Trying to grab, and the crate. She tries to grab the top crate, and the crate just goes flying. Like, what are you doing?
Oh, was she trying to hold on? She was trying to pull herself back up.
What is she just trying to hold on?
Oh, that looked like me on the dragon riding competition. Oh, down goes Fraser. Down goes Fraser. Oh.
Oh, back right on that crate. Oh, I hurt.
Wait. One more time.
I mean, how was that supposed to end? That was the only way that was going to end. I don't see that in any way.
Did she think? How much money was it? Did she think she was going to make it? I couldn't make that.
Why? You would have to know that they're setting you up to fail, right? No one told you to do it because they thought you were going to make it.
They must have offered her a lot of something.
Everyone said, she's got to realize that, hey, I'm a pretty big girl here. Yeah. Right? You know, and they said, hey, it'd be funny to see a big girl fall. So there's no way, you know what I mean, that they did it to thinking she was going to make it. Someone should make an only crates page. Okay. That was
it's not like it's Eddie Murphy trying to get the I got the knife. It's no, he's not gonna make that. She's not gonna make that. It's not gonna happen. She's not trying to not spill a glass of water or something.
Yeah, listen, I don't know why these people make up these. I think it'd be more interesting if they did buckets. Like if they walked up buckets, you know what I mean? I think that would be more interesting. We got Girls Nettles in the bill. I haven't seen Girls Nettles for a while.
Oh, good to see Girl Nettles always. I think the crates work funny because you can break those. Having worked at a convenience store late night hours, I used to work at a convenience store for 6 or 8 months. 11 at night to 7 in the morning, and you get bored and you do a lot of adventures, and I had my own crate challenges. Those things break ridiculously easy and you can step through them. So I guess that's part of the humor, that they're very fragile. But to your point, buckets would work better.
A guy did it rolling the blunt. I seen a guy do it rolling the blunt. He rolled the blunt all the way up to the top and came down and lit it when he got to the bottom. Rolled it the whole time. Walked up there, rolling the blunt the whole time, came back.
I wish I had the sound cue from coming through. That boy's got talent. You know,
you know what I mean? He didn't roll the blunt, man. So it's all about, listen, you just got to be light, and you got, I seen the mascot do it. It's all about being confident.
That's a trained professional mascot. Most of those people are ex-gymnasts from college.
But they got big feet on those mascot feet. That's hard to do, you know?
It's true. I have a mascot costume packed up, and you know I do. I have I get some big ass feet on that thing.
Yeah, it's hard to do and everything else. Yeah, the guy.
But I guess to end things up, I think House of Dragons, or not to end this particular topic, House of Dragons, I do think has a chance to be a good series, and I've said it many times. And we're going to be talking about this, Tony and I, not this coming Tuesday. We have a different topic, but we will have House of the Dragon stuff coming on the unusual suspects, that whatever we're going to call it. But anyways, we
may be the unusual.
Yeah, maybe the unusual suspects.
The unusual suspect.
But basically, House of Dragon's probably going to be a good series. But is it going to be able to catch the mainstream wave? Is it going to be able to repair the damage that the parent series did? And I don't know about that. As for Tony's big question and in the storyline, an Arya spinoff series, I think, believe it or not, some of the people that are pissed off about this would probably rather get that than another Game of Thrones series. I think another Game of Thrones series with new characters in the universe, even with awesome dragons and stuff, is going to be a tough sell for some of the mainstream people that weren't into fantasy to begin with, but still got on the Game of Thrones board because they were into the political intrigue stuff. That's why, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, I feel like if they were going to do Dunk and Egg anyway, Dunk and Egg might have been a better first series because you could have just focused on two characters and got a little bit more human and shown, and then get, while you build this House of the Dragon series as the big second series, if you can bring back some of the love. And I think if you just build around two main characters, I think maybe they didn't do that because Last of Us is coming, which is an HBO series that's going to be based around two characters. So you need to do a bigger thing to not do two series that are too similar. I'm not saying Last of Us and Dunk and Egg is completely similar, but there are some.
And the whole thing about Last of Us is it's a 2 video games thing. So how long can they do it? I mean, it's only 2 video games made.
If it's a success, they'll stretch that thing 7 freaking seasons. They're hoping these are their 2 right now. HBO's in the craps game, and they have all their money on Game of Thrones and Last of Us, and they're hoping one of these 2 hit as their next big thing.
Yeah, and that's what we think. Like 4 series is all 4 seasons all you can get. I mean, you could maybe stretch the first game into 2 seasons.
Have you played the games? I personally have.
I played and beat them both. So I maybe 2 seasons if you're lucky. You know, on each game, you cut them in half. If you did something like that.
Now I know this is a shifted topic. Tony, having played both games, Joe as well has played both games. We're going to talk about the series on my channel. And I'm sure you will as well. Yeah. We'll definitely have to have you on the podcast. But question: do you think this, and being ignorant to it, does this series have the potential that HBO thinks it does from a entertainment standpoint for the people like me that haven't played the video games? Is this as strong of a story as people tell me it is?
Yep.
Oh,
there's no doubt about it. It should have been Maisie Williams. Should have been playing the lead. She should have been the girl, but she aged out of it. Now they got the other girl who played the Mormont woman playing it. But
and Pedro.
It should have been Maisie Williams. They should have did that before. No doubt about it. The story is amazing. It's an amazing video game. If they just stick to the video game, it's all they got to do. I guess they could stretch it out and they could do stuff in between that they didn't show in the game. You know what I mean? And say these things happen in between, and maybe they could do something like that. I would say 4 seasons, the most, unless they have another game coming out. Unless they have another game going to come out. Unless there's another Last of Us coming out down the pipeline. But
I'm sure each game will probably be 2 seasons.
It is what The Walking Dead should have been. What The Walking Dead tried to be, and as successful as it was, this is that, but better. It really does that better. It shows you, it's basically, I'll say, I don't want to give away a thing, but basically it's about these spores that are infecting the human race and turn humans not into zombies, but these creatures they call clickers. So, and they're attracted to noise.
That's what I used to call the remote control when I was a kid because it's the sound it made when I changed it. I used to call it the clicker.
That's what my mother used to call me because she used to make me click the remote for her, change the channel before there was a remote. Before they had remote, listen, this is how old I am. I had TV when they didn't make remotes.
Dude, I remember that too. You would have to change the
you had to go and turn the channel. And my mother used to call me into the room when I was out doing something just to change her TV channel because she didn't want to get out of bed on a regular basis, screaming at the top of her lungs like something was wrong, and would tell me to change the TV.
I think our moms went to the same school because I'd do the same thing, and I'd have to hold the antenna sometimes and just to get the television to focus in anything.
Oh, yeah. All right, I bet. But that's what basically is about. These.
I'm gonna run and get a beer. I'll be right back.
All right, yeah, about the spores. the spores that are infecting people, and they're not actually zombie. These people.
So it's a little different than a zombie story, but with
It's
elements.
not zombies. They're clickers. There's a huge difference between a clicker and a zombie. They're similar, but they're much more deadly than a zombie.
But it's like a post-apocalyptic kind of story.
Post-apocalyptic people are hiding out in these shelters, and they have factions and everything else, and the military type factions. They're all trying to stay away from these spores that are spreading throughout the whole planet. Because once you inhale a spore, you become a clicker.
Do you think Pedro is a good pick for Joel?
He's not. He doesn't look like Joel. Joel's a white guy in the TV show and everything else. But
would Jamie have been a better pick?
No, Jamie would be. Is too pretty. It would have had to been someone like I would say, like a young Kurt Russell.
Ah, okay.
Like that with a beard, like someone like that, like a more rugged type of a guy, like that, like the guy who played the Punisher from The Walking Dead.
Oh, Shane there.
Yeah, he could do it.
John Barenthal.
Yeah, John Barenthal with a beard would be like ideal to play.
John Barenthal's playing Tony Soprano's father in the Many Saints of Newark.
He could play that role without a shadow of a doubt. Regina Gray is correct. Where are they getting all these crates? I have no idea.
Anyways, I'll be right back. Sorry.
Yeah. How are they getting these crates from? I have no idea. But yeah, that show I think definitely could definitely do good. We'll get to the final topic when Phil gets back, but until he does, anyone has any questions, we'll answer those questions and stuff. And now Phil's getting another beer. Make me stay here longer than I intended. 10:30 at night. We'll chill till 11. Well, it's chill till 11 and everything else. And but yeah, I do think that Pedro will do a pretty good job in that show. I think he's good enough to pull it off. And everything, and without a doubt, I think they'll do pretty good in that. So, any questions more? We talked about House of the Dragon. We talked about the Marvel video game that's coming out, and now we're going to talk about the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer that was released. We're going to go into that a little bit. I do have a video. I'll get to that video tomorrow about that and drop about the Doctor Strange stuff and all that. We'll definitely get into all that and everything else. What is all this? That's the background. I thought I put that in there and everything else. But yeah, so every day, we'll always be doing this update show every Wednesday. Probably think a little bit early, maybe 8:00. We'll do the update show every week. We'll have an update show where we'll have 3 different topics. If there's 4, we'll have 4, and we'll talk about them every week. So make sure you subscribe, click that bell, so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. And we'll do the update show every week. And Tuesday will be the show. When we do the show on Tuesday, that will be the Game of Thrones based House of the Dragon type show. I hope you enjoy that show when we do it and everything else. I think it's an interesting topic, though. We're going to go about it. We have a super chat here from Alexander Wilson. Says, what's interesting in the Jason Kilar, the CEO of Warner, called the Game of Thrones House of the Dragons? He is hyping the heck out of the show. I would think he is. It's House of the Dragon because there's so many dragons in it. And I think that's a big appeal to people. People love dragons. There's a reason why dragons are in video games all the time. There's a reason why they have a bunch of dragons. That is the big dog there, right?
It's fucking huge. I don't know if it comes through on camera how big this dog is. But yeah, it's true. I mean, there's a reason why Skyrim has been... The Elder Scrolls hasn't had to come out with another game for a while because people like playing Skyrim and they like
years they haven't come out again. Damn,
exactly because they like playing in that particular universe. Sorry, I have to keep an eye on this dog and make sure it doesn't start ringing its bell like Hector. Stay right there, buddy. Good boy. Good boy.
Thank you for the super chat. All right, so we got us. Did you watch the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer?
I did.
All right. What did you feel? How did you feel about the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer?
I like it. I don't like everyone's. I almost feel like it's hard for me to get into it too much without showing some of my saltiness towards everyone's urgency to spoil everything and need to know everything before a movie comes out. But I liked it. I think this is going to be a cool movie. I enjoy the fact that they obviously really liked what the Into the Spider-Verse movie did, and they want to do sort of a live action situation with it. I think I think even though they're being hush-hush about it, it's pretty obvious that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are a part of this movie in some way, shape, or form. It's just a matter of how big of a part each one of them have. I tend to agree with you. I'm not sure if this really is Doctor Strange, and I'm curious to hear what you think about that as well and see a little bit more of a perspective because I don't know, Tony, out of all the people on YouTube that talk about Marvel stuff, Tony is like my cousin Alan. You and my cousin Alan have he had that same freaking book. He had the DC one too. And he would just sit playing those games, playing those tabletop games, learning all about it, who's mega power this thing, learning about green kryptonite and, what the different colors of kryptonite do. But I do think, I thought it was a good trailer, and I like this version of Spider-Man, and I was excited to see Doc Ock and see all those different things. I hope Daredevil isn't in it, even though a lot of people want it. I don't want to just see Daredevil in this. And if they're going to do a Daredevil thing, give me a full Daredevil. I just don't want to see him as Spider-Man's lawyer right there. But I do think he's going to be in this movie, and he's going to be Spider-Man.
If he's in it, it sets up for him to be in the She-Hulk series because that's what she's going to be. She's going to be a superhero, a defense attorney for superheroes and stuff. So if they do show him here, we know you're going to bring him in there. And obviously, Charlie Cox is the perfect person to play that.
He is. No, until at this point, it's funny. I was rewatching Boardwalk Empire, and I forgot Charlie Cox is in that as well. And I almost when I'm looking at him, I'm wondering why he's not blind because he's basically Daredevil.
He's like the most amazing part of that whole Boardwalk Empire. Without a doubt. I like the trailer. As for the Doctor Strange thing, I said I'm making a video on why I don't think that is Doctor Strange in that trailer. They give away. You gotta understand. They lie to you in these trailers. They lie to you. They delete things. They leave stuff out. They do it. This is what they know to do.
Special orders.
Well, it all depends and everything else. But the trailer itself was a decent trailer. I wouldn't say it's the greatest trailer I've ever seen in my life. They showed Doc Ock because that version of Dr. Octopus is the best version they've ever done. That's one of the best superhero movies ever done is that Spider-Man with Dr. Octopus.
Part of what started this whole thing, and his casting had already basically been announced anyway, so it wasn't any big reveal seeing him.
Yeah, it was nothing like that. But I think that they did a good job. He's aged pretty well and stuff like that. We'll go way more. It seems like people want to talk more about the Game of Thrones thing. So, I guess we'll go back to the Game of Thrones thing.
We can circle back. But to finish this off, I think it's going to be I think it's an exciting trailer. I don't think it's the best trailer ever either, but there's some part of me that's upset that this Spider-Man never got a full Spider-Man movie as himself. That's just each one. In the first one, he's got Iron Man all over him. In the second one, it's very much like a on the road story, and Sam Jackson's a big part of that movie.
Yeah, you think they think he can't carry it by himself?
I wonder because or they fear that they're going to run into the same situation they went with Andrew Garfield. But I feel like I would have liked to see this kid get the full-on Spider-Man movie treatment and just do a him and within Insidious 6 kind of thing going on. But in this movie, they're bringing. I know it. I will freaking do something. I will shave my something. No, I'm so convinced that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are in this movie, and I would be shocked if they're not.
Definitely, they have to be, and don't shave anything till we get a deal from Manscaped. All right,
it's true. I need a new. My razor just broke recently. I need.
They ain't giving us no deal. Fuck them. We ain't shaving nothing until they do. But I think they'll be in it. I put a video out. They had, full disclosure. I put a video out a little bit ago about the plot leaks and it seems like a lot of this stuff does set up the plot leaks. We'll see if that's the way it goes. But yeah, and I'll have a video out tomorrow about why I think Doctor Strange. That's not Doctor Strange. So, and then maybe after we watch that video and everything else, and we touch on all that, then we'll come back and we'll talk some more about the Spider-Man.
Absolutely, and we'll do. And when it comes out, we'll do a review as soon as we watch it, as close to when it comes out. I'll try to see it as soon as possible, and I'm excited to see it, and it's going to be. I wonder if Toby and Andrew Garfield are they just going to be cameos, or do you think they'll actually be bigger
think
parts.
they'll be at like 15 minutes. You know, that's about it.
Yeah.
Which is a long time in a movie. If it's
No,
only
that is a long movie like
you know,
that.
it may get 15 minutes, you know, or something like that in the end. I think it'll be something like that. Girl Nettles says, my worst fear is that since they made Sea Snake black, they'll just remove Nettles because they have too many black characters. Now, that's always an issue. And you always have to realize that, but I don't think so. I think
No.
that they'll make Nettles black. I think they'll have her. I think they'll have Nettles. She said that her casting agent put her in there for the role, and she hasn't heard anything back yet. So hopefully, you do hear something back, Girl Nettles. Hopefully, you do. Let's give those good vibes for Girl Nettles to get that role.
Get that role.
I'd love to see you in that role and stuff like that. And listen, then you be making out with this with Matt Smith and all that. If that's the case, you get to make out with Matt Smith.
Ooh. I don't know about that. He's a little creepy.
Hey, you're gonna have to do it. You gotta.
I mean, I do it for a job. I know you wouldn't, but I do it for a job.
That's part of the game. You know what I mean? That's just part of the game. That's what you got. That's part of the game and everything else. And all that.
It's all in the game. I speaking of as we're transitioning subjects here, I'm rewatching Boardwalk Empire, which is an underrated series. If people haven't seen it before on HBO, you have your HBO. I was just gonna say HBO Go, your HBO Max thing. There's a lot of HBO series to choose from. Boardwalk Empire is a good one, and you get a lot of alums from both The Sopranos and The Wire. So it's a lot of cool crossovers in the sense of like some of those people. And I would say, having rewatched it now for the first time, it's the best period piece drama with Mad Men. Those two are probably the two best in the way. And Boardwalk doesn't shy away from shit, and it's a pretty good series. So if you haven't given it a shot, give Boardwalk Empire a shot.
Yeah, definitely. Tokus is saying that Eternals is likely to hint to X-Men's return. I think the X-Men thing, you know,
that's fine.
For the Eternals thing, they're gonna say that, you know, how come you guys didn't get involved? And they're like, we didn't get involved because we're not allowed to get involved. Yep. So it could have hinted to X-Men being there, saying that, hey, this like they didn't get involved, the X-Men didn't get involved. But I think it's going to be more of a multiverse type situation. That the X-Men is going to be something that releases the X gene into this universe.
It's going to be something reflective off of Spider-Man. Something's going to happen in this movie to mess up the Ultraverse universe thing, and it's going to push on. Not meaning to shift the subjects over to a different genre, but or different franchise, but DC's still trying, and they got this Flash movie coming out with Michael Keaton reprising his Batman role. Is that enough to make you give a crap about this Flash movie? I don't. I'm excited to see Michael Keaton in that role again, but I don't like this Flash.
I don't Flash.
I think he's horrible. I think the kid that does it on television is better at it.
Run right. He runs like he looks stupid when he's running.
He looks so stupid.
The number one thing you gotta look good at when you're being the Flash is looking good when you run. He looks terrible when he's running.
Dude, he's awful, and I'm shuddered to think about watching a whole movie of his just to see Michael Keaton playing Batman.
Man, they pulled the He-Man off of Netflix. It was so bad.
Oh yeah,
like it's not even there anymore.
It isn't there anymore. I didn't get a chance to watch it.
It's not even there. He took it off. I don't even think they're gonna air part 2. It was so terrible.
Oh my god, it was that bad?
It was terrible. It was terrible. They fucked He-Man up. I don't know what they were thinking. They were doing. Didn't
they kill He-Man off in the first episode, and it wasn't even the bug or something?
It was just terrible. It didn't even focus on He-Man. I'm not even going to He-Man was disgusting.
He-Man was trash.
It was disgusting. What I shot with that and everything else. You know what I mean? So I think it has to be something to do with the X gene. Somehow the X gene will get released on people, and I think it will be some multiverse thing that allows you to come into this thing. I think that's the way they'll do it. DC's biggest problems, I think, is that they just don't know how to follow the animated series. Animated series is amazing.
They did it way before. I think DC effed it up because they shouldn't have tried to do a universe thing. And I mean, everything in Hollywood is such a copycat ditto world that if something catches on, everyone has to do it. But really what makes you win and what makes you beat people is by coming up with original things. and not even original because everything's been done under the sun, just doing what the other people aren't doing. And DC should have stuck to individual movies that don't connect to each other. When they do that, they make decent movies. You make something like the Joker, the Dark Knight stuff, besides the last one, but individual movies that are just based around the movies, because you cannot do, to Tony's point, you cannot do DC connected universe stuff better than Bruce Timm did it with that animated universe shit. And unless you're going to just copy that, then it's always going to be a pale comparison unless we all die out and forget about how good that stuff was. Because it was awesome. It was almost as good as what Marvel does, maybe even better.
Thing is, this Marvel, when they built up the Avengers, it took years. They did the Iron Man movies. They did everybody's separate movies first. They did Thor movie. Thor movie was
they did 2 movies almost for some people before they did that.
Thor movie was terrible. You know,
it was awful. The Kenneth Branagh one where they set it up like a Shakespeare movie.
Oh, it was terrible. They did Captain America. They did these movies first to build you up to get you to this. They did Man of Steel was terrible. And then they did the Wonder Woman, which was good. Wonder Woman was good, and then they go right into it with Batman, Superman. Like that's, put a Batman movie out there first.
Or do an Aquaman movie at that point too. The only other decent one.
Build it up, and then come out with that stuff. Make people want them to be. I think it was just way too right. Alexander Wilson says thoughts on the new Candyman movies, getting good reviews. Also, the director is directing Captain Marvel too. I don't think it's out yet, so I don't think I'm privy to see it.
Is Candyman playing Candyman still?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's that Candyman. I don't know if he is or not.
The guy that plays Candyman is an amazing. The original Candyman.
He was. People use his voice all the time.
He was actually on one of my favorite episodes of, I believe it was the Candyman, of my favorite episodes of Deep Space Nine called The Visitor, where he plays an older Jake Sisko, and he's an excellent actor. Tony Todd, is that his name?
Tony Todd.
Tony Todd.
Yeah, it's the second one. First Wonder Woman was really good. The second one is terrible. It's the guy who plays Kang. No, Kang is Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors is the one playing Kang, the guy from Lovecraft Country. Is he playing Candyman in this movie?
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Candyman.
I could see him doing it. I could see him doing a good Candyman.
Yeah, I would like to see. No, listen. I would just say I don't think we'll privilege see that's all people who's got screener copies, but I'll definitely watch it and everything else. Black director on that too, black woman, female director, and she's doing Captain Marvel too. So I definitely check it out and everything else. Definitely look forward to it. Candyman was one of those movies I watched when I was a child.
Me too. Creepy. That guy that creeps him and Robert Englund, regardless of what they're in, they creep me out because of how creepy original Freddy. I know Freddy Krueger became my favorite slasher villain.
No, the guy from Watchmen is it? No, it's Candyman. My bad, not Jonathan Majors. All right, but I thought I would have heard about it if it was Jonathan Majors. I don't think it was. All right, yeah. So definitely take a look at that and everything. All that when that comes out, without a shadow of doubt, and everything else. Without a shadow of that, would definitely be going. And of watching Candyman and do a review on Candyman and everything else. Like the guy who played Dr. Manhattan in Watchmen is the new Candyman.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
He's a new Candyman. All right, we got 10 minutes left. We're gonna rock for 10 minutes. This will be what up, Chrissy of Old Stones coming in here.
I see. Great
to see you. Anyone has any questions, please will answer them right now. Last 10 minutes. Alexander Wilson, thank you for the super chat. Tony Todd is credited as Candyman, but I think the star will be Candyman. So we'll see. Yahya Abdullah Mateen is a great actor. So I have to watch it. I don't know. Maybe they just use
the original regime says the original Candyman actors in the movie as well. Good. I'm glad that and that's one of those things that they don't do enough in reboots and series, carry over actors to play different parts. It's one of the things I liked about one of the best remakes ever, when remakes weren't an everyday thing, when you got things like Scarface as a remake, the Cape Fear remake, which was with De Niro, but they had the guy that played him, played the Nick Nolte part in the original movie, actually in the same movie in the remake later on. So I like that kind of crossover stuff that they have. What do you think, Tony, about have you seen any of the trailers or the hype for the new Ghostbusters movie?
I think I've seen a trailer for it and everything else, but We'll see. I heard it's getting good. People are digging it.
Yeah, people seem to be digging it.
We'll see. After the what female Ghostbuster movies, I don't know. I got to see it now. You know that really messed me up on it. That one was really terrible.
Yeah,
So,
it wasn't written. It wasn't written well. I feel bad. I feel bad for all the actors in that movie because the script betrayed them. It was a bad script.
Girl now says I want a remake of the camp classic Showgirls. Are you talking about the one with the girl from Saved by the Bell?
With Jesse Spano. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so sad.
And YDA asks, you guys watch What If today? I did watch What If. You
I
know,
haven't watched it yet.
I'm not fascinated by What If. It's basic to me and everything. I knew exactly what happened in this episode from the beginning. I said exactly who the villain was, how they were doing it, and everything. I seen that from the beginning. From the beginning. I said it from the beginning, and I was 100% right. So, it's all right show, but it's not great to me. Maybe later on, it'll pick up in stride and connect the dots and everything else.
Now, to Girl Nettle's point, yes, I wouldn't mind a remake of that Showgirls. I also like it in a campy way, especially the scene when she pushes the other showgirl down the stairs to take her part. I will only sign on a remake of that movie if you have Elizabeth Berkley, Jesse Spano come back and play the other role of the girl that gets pushed down the stairs, just to kind of go full circle. So that's such a cheesy movie on like Sharknado level cheesiness that I love it in the same way I love Last Action Hero or Demolition Man.
Demolition Man is a better movie than
Demolition's a great movie.
Yeah, I don't think we can put that in the same
category. I know you're like, I'm with you. Don't talk bad
about Demolition Man.
It's a good movie. In fairness, Demolition Man, I would say, is one of the best live depictions you'll ever see of the Joker. Because someone else said this, and I agree with it. I forget who the first person to say it was, but if you watch closely and you think about it in this way, Wesley Snipes is basically playing the Joker. That character, Simon Phoenix, is very much is especially once he gets to the other world, handles the whole situation almost exactly similar to what you could imagine Wesley Snipes' take on the Joker would be, who would be an amazing freaking Joker. Just the way he can play crazy. And I don't think he has done that enough on screen. Wesley Snipes can do almost any way of.
He's amazing. He's amazing.
But he's also one of the most underrated actors because he's done comedy so well. And when someone does comedy really well, they almost get struck out of drama. But Wesley Snipes has skills.
Yeah.
He got a raw deal when it came to parts and got typecast in this like cocky comedy kind of role.
It was the IRS thing fucked him over.
And I was gonna say, and then the IRS thing fucked him over eventually too. But he did at the beginning of his career get trapped in that because of Major League and White Man Can't Jump in playing similar parts. But he amazingly talented actor. So
and the whole thing about it, I would say, and what up to IC Spots.
I see Spots.
Ever subscribing to Teflon TV was IC Spots. Always recognize
an early subscriber as well for me.
I was going to do Reservation Dogs. I watched it. I planned on reviewing it, and I just haven't gotten around to do it. But maybe I will do it since you like his Spots. So maybe I'll do that for you. The thing about his tax thing situation.
Good question, Girl Nettles.
We'll do this about this. Can he pay taxes?
Same with Richard Hatch, the guy that won the first.
He's 100% right that he should not have had to pay that because the IRS is not a part of the United States government. It's a separate entity, and that's the bottom line. So, by the letter, he's right.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. He's not the only person that stands that line.
No, by the letter, he's 100% right, but they could not do that to him, or nobody would ever pay taxes again.
He's too high. He's too high.
And that's the whole thing. That's why they had to convict him. They had to put him in jails and everything else because he's 100% right. It's truly illegal for them to have you have a driver's license. Having a driver's license is illegal. You don't need a driver's license to drive a car. That's state laws. They're putting these laws in, and it violates your constitutional rights, and Constitution overrides the state law. So really you're right, but they'll never let you be right because then no one would ever have to have a driver's license again. But
Especially
legally,
someone
you are
as
right.
high profile as Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, and it's just a situation like that. So they just fucked him over with all of that.
Or Richard Hatch from Survivor,
Yeah,
who
he should have known better. He should have known better. They weren't going to let him go on that, and that's the bottom line. He should have known they weren't going to let him go, and just to paid it, but whatever his ego got involved, and that's
his
why he did it.
ego, the people that advising him didn't advise him strong enough.
It's just like Wesley, you're right, but you're going to lose. You're going to go to jail. So let's just back out of this one.
I always just quote the Big Lebowski, Walter, you're right, but you're still an asshole. Like at some point in time, you can be right all you want. And this is something I suffer from too. And I only say this because I'm big on this. Sometimes I'm so vehement to be right when I know I'm right. And I screw myself over because just to be right. And sometimes it's okay to be right, but you still got to do the right thing so you don't end up in jail or you don't end up in the firing squad or in the front lines. It sucks to do those things. You're right, Wesley, but pay your taxes and make amazing movies.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I'm trying to find something. Keep talking.
Okay. So I See Spots, we've been sharing all these songs. So Wesley Snipes, I think he is an amazing actor. Demolition Man is a better movie than some of those other comedic kind of movies like that. And it's funny how Demolition Man's a movie that just keeps getting better over time. And you can even look at John Spartan, Sly's character, as a Batman kind of character, a character that doesn't make a lot of jokes, very stoic at times, and the interaction between him and Wesley is very Batman-ish at times. Jackie says, I've always dreamed of a world where people don't need licenses to drive.
Well, it says right here under the Fifth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution that as a fundamental right inherent an American citizen and the nature of the federal union, the right to travel in the United States is basic to American liberty. The U.S. Constitution and Supreme Court recognize and protect that right to travel interstate. So the fact that you have the right to travel, that means you can travel by any means necessary. And traveling in a car gives you the right to travel. Traveling on a horse gives you the right to travel. You
The
don't
right
need
lawyer
to
could
ride a horse.
definitely
You don't have to get a license to ride a horse. So these are really state laws that they do just to make you pay money, and it really is a violation of your constitutional right. But the bottom line is you'll never win that case. You don't ever fight it. They'll never let you win. But really, you're right. You have the right to travel. You have the right to travel and go anywhere you want as American citizens unimpeded. They can't stop you. And if you have to travel by plane, or you have to travel by car, or you have to travel by bicycle, or you have that right to travel. And that's just the bottom line. You can travel by car. Well, all right, we're not talking about that politics in the show. We're just about to wrap up here and everything else. Phil, do you have anything else going on this week?
I started to talk about the final season of The Walking Dead, which started off with a subpar first episode, and we're back to the norm of that show. It's one of those things that I'm going through the motions of it because it was the first show I talked about on my channel. Or no, Breaking Bad was the first show, but this Walking Dead and Game of Thrones were the next two. But so there's a loyal a few group of people that still sort of come and watch. But every Sunday evening at around 10:30 p.m., myself and my co-host Joe Dirtylocks will be talking about the newer episodes of The Walking Dead. So if anyone out there is watching that pile of horse turds, come on over to Phil the Issues Guy here on YouTube and check out Joe and I's stream. Getting back into it, getting back streaming, and I'm getting ready to move and hopefully get streaming a lot more and get back to doing Sunday evenings and a couple of other nights a week as well. So yeah, check out Phil the Issues Guy if you haven't already, and check it out. We just did the most recent episode, and yeah. I wish I was more excited about it, Tony. It's
hear you.
Gonna be a slog. I'm excited that it's gonna be over in 23 more episodes.
I hear you. I watched it and I understand exactly why. I believe. Definitely check out Phil to get all the latest. on that. Is it right after the episode airs?
Yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it old school. We're doing it right after the episode airs.
Right after the episode airs, tune in to Philly Issues Guys channel so you can get the first reaction and first thoughts of the Walking Dead final season.
Oof.
Get the fire burning underneath us today in the background. We trying stuff out to see if the fire works, different things like that, and all that. Let me know in the comment section if you like the fire burning. You want me to try a different thing underneath it? Maybe we'll do a little snow falling. Who knows? We'll figure out something. We'll get it all popping and everything else like that. Yeah, Mike and Funny Bone. All right. So thank everyone for joining us here and rocking with us. It's true. If Girl Nettle likes the fire, then hey, that's all I need to see.
Oh yeah, that's all. Yeah, it's done.
Yeah,
It's
done
then. It's done.
You good on that. All right, everybody. Listen, as always, like I said, next week, the 1st, we will be back. I think around 6:30. I will drop it on Monday with the topic we're talking about and everything. We'll be back with that without a shadow of a doubt. We'll have that going on. And then next day, Wednesday, we'll be doing the news update show. We'll be doing this. That'll be an every week thing. We'll do it every week, same time, so you can set your calendar to it, set your alarm. But make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell just in case somehow you forget it and everything else. Thank you to everyone who's rocking with us. Thank you for everyone who's left the super chat up in this piece. You know what I mean? Truly appreciate it. As always, if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this video, please. Spread it across the realm. And as always, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.